All right, we are live. Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, October 9th. So, yesterday we come into the sesh. We wanted to see how price was going to be pretty much responding to the 25K level. Remember, this is a bullish backdrop, right? So, we had fresh all-time highs being made Tuesday morning. Tuesday, you see the sell off. Is that a time to get super bearish? In my opinion, no, absolutely not. Price is simply retesting a major pivot that we have here on the higher time frame chart. On the 2 hour chart, you can see it right through there. And so we come into Wednesday, and we actually have a pretty nice setup to work with. On Tuesday, what we saw was a late afternoon sideways base, basically just like this. And what I like to do with this sort of structure is on the following trading day, I just want to see which way is this structure breaking. Well, right off the open, talking about Wednesday morning, price breaks higher. You have a very strong open, and the open pretty much marks the low for the day, right? So that tells me, okay, shorts are probably off the table at least until the 25 200 area, and up here it can get a little bit more dicey once price starts to reach the upper portion of that range. That's where I personally would want to be less involved, right? And so what ends up happening is we see fresh all-time highs. You see a breakout of that near-term range is basically I'd call this like a 4 or 5 session sideways range here. Price breaks that high, triggering kind of a near term range breakout. And now we see fresh all time highs being made during the Globex overnight session. Price almost into that 1.61 400 upside fib extension. And now during the overnight sesh, a little bit of a pullback. So, what I'm going to be looking at for this morning and for the duration of today is whether buyers can sustain this area. Can we see a hold up through here and then maybe a bounce? What's that going to look like? Now, yesterday technically can be considered an expansion day. Typically, following an expansion day, you're going to have a bit of compression. That's not an absolute thing, but that tends to be what probabilities favor. So I am looking for some signs of a potential inside day or potentially just more of a range bound session. That's the game plan for this morning. 25 250, that zone, this kind of zone right through here. Really, it's between 275 and really I'd say like 225. So about a 50-point zone here. That is really going to be the primary focus for this morning. No gambler. That's right. That's right, Gabe. Not today or any day. Those days are long behind us. No need to gamble. We're here to look for our long-term edge and execute on it accordingly. Just looking for our A plus setups, just looking for our A plus trades. If the market does not give us our A plus play, we can definitely consider some B or B plus quality setups, either in a prop account or with lighter sizing, knowing that they are not the best trade. But anything C quality and below should just be considered a market donation. And personally, I would rather donate to a charity rather than a market. So we avoid those. We avoid those. If there's nothing else to trade, we just stay cash. We just stay cash. Here's the open. Let's take a look. So I want to see volume profile. So session volume point of control is right here at 325. Prior day high, 345, and then overnight low, 294. ES with a nice hold of the prior day high right off the open. Gonna start keeping a closer eye on gold too. I've been seeing more gold trades being posted in the traders think tank. Good to see people diversifying a bit with NQ at all-time highs, looking at some other assets. It's always good. It's always good. So NQ right now just pretty much sideways within this kind of pre-market structure right here. Any lean hog trades? No lean hogs for me. Shout out to Dom. I don't know if Dom trades anymore. I haven't seen that guy in a while. Looking at soybeans and got rug pulled. Oh man, yeah. Try and keep it to the liquid the liquid names, man. Even gold's a bit of a stretch. NQ, ES, little RTY, maybe some YM, and then GC, gold, maybe some oil, CL. All right, NQ coming into overnight low. See how that overnight low is going to be treated. Take a look at the 5-minute RTH here. No gap this morning. So beneath that overnight low, it really opens up into that 250 area. A crypto S&P. What is that? What is that? Like an index for cryptocurrencies? NQ pretty much right into that overnight low. We'll keep an eye on that overnight low as a reference point. ES round trip back into session lows. No, I haven't heard that, Sam. That's pretty interesting. I don't mess with any crypto. I do some DCA in Bitcoin just as kind of a diversified approach to some longer term accounts, but I don't mess with any other crypto. Bitcoin futures, no, straight BTC, Gabe. Just write in Coinbase. Just keep it simple. So weekly buy. Nothing crazy there. So we'll see if that little sweep of the overnight low ends up holding. Yeah, I've heard good things about that cold wallet storage. I don't do any of that personally. Maybe I should, but I just let it sit right there on Coinbase. NQ volume already just tapering down. RTY, that's what you want to see with the spring right there. Nice undercut of the overnight low. And just goes instantly session highs. So we got a partial on the spring. We'll see if we get stopped here on the rest. I already got some off. See if the stop gets rammed just beneath 90. I've got it. A little intraday, or excuse me, a little overnight low spring setup right there. One of my favorites. Here comes the stop. Oh, still there, still there. Just beneath 90. 89.75. I like to give a little bit of a buffer. A few points. Especially once I have some of the position already cleared off. So beneath this overnight low, really what I'll be waiting for is 250 area, most likely into 10 a.m. RTY already up into overnight high. If you like to trade the Russell, that thing's moving. So there's that stop. We tried the overnight low spring. Got out of a partial. That's basically a scratch trade. That's why I manage my trades in the way that I do. So now waiting for that 250 area. More than likely we'll wait till 10 a.m. though. Here's the fib for yesterday's bounce, 50%, 61% down there near last week's high, 25,200 area. Catch anything yesterday? Yeah. Go back and watch the stream. It's the most recent video. NQ pretty fast, almost into 250. Like I had mentioned earlier, if that overnight low gives out, probably be a fast move there into 250. Seeing that pan out right now. Good uptick in volume. Previous all-time high, what is that? 1275 from Tuesday. Opening 15-minute bars getting ready to close here in a few seconds. Fresh lows, fresh lows. ES coming into overnight low right now. TLA on ES. 3-letter acronym on ES. Okay, noted. Thanks. NASDAQ watching 250 here. Keep an eye on this 5-minute. NASDAQ back in an overnight low. Did we talk about that 250? Did we mention that one? See how this overnight low is going to be treated. Those B quality setups, you always got to go with the prop. Save the personal account. Feed the lucid. Straight to funded. See what we can do here. See what we can do with it. I like to bring the trail just beneath that overnight low now. I don't really want to see the overnight low fail. It's probably I would guess just eyeballing it, it's probably like the 61% fib intraday. Let's see. Oh, those colors are terrible. Yep, 61% fib right there. Okay. Okay. Got VWAP just overhead, session volume point of control just overhead. A little bit better volume here on this bounce. Dave, you're in there. Nice. Man, Dave, you don't let anything get by you. Love it. Love it. Let's creep this trail up just beneath overnight low. Little intraday structure here, 315. No structure here. Tough to trail this one. It's just pure bounce. And there's a seller right there at VWAP. Here's the trail.
Order filled.
That's what, whoa, that is why you trail right there. That is why you trail. So we got an uptick in volume coming in now. Okay, not bad. We got a scratch trade in the personal and 1 for 1 in the props, the Lucid S2F accounts. See how this morning develops. We got 8 minutes till 10 a.m. Oh, my bad, Gabe. I gotta I gotta disable that. NQ, if you found an entry versus VWAP, starting to get into target here at session low. Wow, ES really nice. That lower high at the level of interest, 6,800. That's clean. Even the overnight low spring setup is good. Five minutes till 10. No data. Oh, actually, there is data, but probably won't come out. Mm. Good volume. Good volume this morning. Arvol's looking good. We're keeping an eye on 250. Let's take a look at our 5-minute RTH. Yeah, so if we see this kind of 250 area give out right there or some prior day structure, I'll be looking at this zone down through here. There's NQ with a new low of day. How's the morning for everyone so far? First 30 minutes. How's it looking out there? How are we doing? Anyone trading yet? Green, Allen. Nice. Irvin Green. Let's go. Green, Cash. Benny caught the short. Let's go, man. Heck yeah. Small green, Nicole. Nice. Nice, nice. Red, all good. As long as you're following your rules. We move to that next trade. See how much juice that little intraday spring is going to have here. So nice I hit it twice. 250. We talked about the 250. Can't say we didn't talk about the 250. Not nearly as explosive as a bounce as before. And here's the trail. Don't be alarmed if you hear order filled. It's me. It's not you. Do not be alarmed. Coming into 10 a.m. We had data scheduled, but it's unlikely it comes out. So not worried about that. And here's the trail. Held on by one tick.
Order filled.
There it is. So I had a couple extra points on the morning. Both those longs taken down near 250. It's one of the key areas I'm interested in for this morning. However, it's not a true level of interest, and given time of day, had to opt for those trades in the prop account rather than the personal, because I do personally consider them a little bit lower quality. That's all good. We'll take it. Take it. That's what the props are for. Another rejection there near the overnight low. So intraday structure showing us the downtrend. And this one is still in question until a new low is made. Tomorrow is Sushi Friday. Man, I can't wait. NQ current action tells me stay patient here. I don't really want to hit 250 for a third time, considering previous two bounces did not show a break of the intraday structure nor a fresh high. So plus ES, just pounding the lows. ES weekly profile. Let's see. See, oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so ES right there at the weekly. Got the weekly profile right here. 67.90, maybe a little 10 a.m. RT as well. Let's see. Let's see. I do like the structure a little better in NQ. So if 250 can continue to hold. For NASDAQ, the RTH volume point of control has shifted down here into 275, just FYI. So for the regular session, all the volume's down here. I mean, you can probably just see it visually, but confirmations are always good. A little compression here intraday. Structure's getting a little bit tighter. Right now, just staying patient. Just watching this intraday structure here. NQ just continuing to compress within this structure here. Post 10 a.m., not much to do so far. Volume is also tapered down, so we're just staying patient. No positions on right now. NQ getting back into session lows here. Current low is 251.5. More compression, more compression. Let's see how this structure is going to break. Which way? Which way? Yeah, you still have the regular hour session volume point of control right here at 75. Actually, it looks like about 73.25. There's ES marking a fresh low on the day. NQ coming into the lows. There's your new low of day on NQ as well. Again, if we see a big failure here at 250, I'm going to be looking at last week's high. It's not that much further. It's down into 200. Nice uptick in volume. Not all that surprising there. With the fresh lows on the session being made. So now we do have that confirmation. I had the question mark up here, this most recent lower high. That's been confirmed. So still a series of lower highs intraday. Buyers still liking the 250, even with that new low of day being made. What they need to do though is clear that volume point of control. That's just been a wall for the past 10, 15 minutes. That's a little better right there. Back to green on the personal. And I already moved the trail into profit on this one. Basically just break even for the remainder of the trade. I want to set up like this. I want it to go right away. Spring setup, intraday spring, sweep the low, quickly absorbed. It's got to go though. It has to go right away. Can't falter at 275 here. Tilt is this tilt? Two trades? We have very very different definitions of tilt, my friend. See the 75s get cleared here. Nope. The barcode above the entry, the concern was 25,275 in the seller that's just been sitting there for the past 15 minutes. That's primary concern. That seller is still there clearly. So we need a pretty decisive break of 275. Like basically follow through on that 5-minute hammer that just formed. I just got trailed out on my second trade of the morning in the personal there. So first one, basically a scratch. The second one, 10 points. May as well be a scratch. So now I'd really want to see some follow through on the 5-minute hammer that just closed. Otherwise, I'll probably engage with price lower. I'd look lower down into 200 or above the overnight low, like a reclaim of the overnight low. Not sure I want to mess with this structure anymore. Because for me, this setup right here, like the intraday spring that gets pretty much instantly absorbed on, we'll say 2 to 3x R vol, that setup should be explosive. And when it's not, well, that tells me that the other side is has more power than I thought. So it's kind of how I think about it anyway. Yeah, patience key. Bouncing ES would definitely help. That's for sure. Till then, we're chilling. Yeah, failure in this area for NQ definitely does not look good for buyers. Failed breakout, basically. Let's check the 4 hour. Yeah, especially after testing that upside fib target right there. So if it ends up being a failed breakout, where would I want to try longs? I mean, I'll look at 200 if it looked super compelling, but that's still the upper portion of the structure. So really, I would want 25K. Yeah, same Mario. NQ new low of day. 1 hour into the sesh. There it is, breaking lower. What do they say about failed moves? From failed moves comes fast moves. NQ. So the fib buy zone. Yeah, I'll look at 25,200. We'll see. You got a weekly volume point of control right there. Prior day fib buy zone, and then last week's high. But ideally, typically my rule is when we have an intraday trend move, which so far there's a trend lower intraday, I need some higher time frame reversal. So I'd look to like the 15-minute hammer, something like that, 15-minute bullish engulfing before I try another long. That's something I added to my system many years ago. Trying to pick the bottom in a trend move. That's just a recipe for losses. Recipe for losses. High volume node. I don't know. I'm not sure which chart we were just looking at. Maybe the 5-minute RTH, prior day volume point of control. I was kind of in that 200 area. So into 200 with maybe like a 5-minute hammer could be interesting. 15-minute, but no rush right now. Benny, you still in from VWAP? Oh, the 250 retest there? Okay. Take me to 200. Yeah, let's target for this move. Almost there. Session low is about 215 right now. NQ and prior day volume point of control. You've got ES about 10 points from prior day low. Staying patient right now. Scratch day on the personal. Actually, a fairly decent day in the Lucid S2F accounts. What I like to see is the reaction down here into the 25-200. And I'll be treating this as a zone with last week's high. The weekly volume point of control. I don't even know if you can see that, but there's a yellow line basically right here. And that's the weekly profile for this week so far. Let's look at the fib from Tuesday's low up into last night's high. If you take the fib like that, the 50% is right here in this 200 area as well. So this is pretty much like last level, last area I would expect a bounce before price really just makes its way down into 25K again. So as price gets into this area, I definitely don't want to be the first one in, right? Not just looking for any little tiny bounce, looking for real proof of buying activity, not just a little bounce from some profit taken or something like that. So let's see how how the intraday structure builds out in this area. Okay, so there's last week's high, a little uptick in volume. So this 5 minute closes in 2.5 minutes. Decent little bounce there from the area we were talking about, right? The question is, can it sustain? 5 minute almost engulfing here. Has a better look to it. So 5 minute engulfs prior bar. Can it actually hold above that bar's high? It's pretty much been the story all morning. If you look at this 5 minute, just look at each 5 minute bar high. Not really any action above prior bar high. So it's a really simple thing, but can help give you some clues. Wow, nice man. Glad to hear that. Yeah, copy trading should only be done once you have proven edge and some longer term consistency. Everyone wants to copy trade right away, but copy trading is just leverage. Why would you add leverage if you have no consistency? It's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. So you start small, then you start to add some leverage. Once you've proven your system, taken some payouts, right? So that's good. That is good. I'm glad to hear it. So Nasdaq's getting back into 250. Very nice bounce, pretty much right where we expected it to. No position. Personally, did not want to hammer the reversal there. So waiting. Want to see if I can find an entry. We do have that 30-minute candle closing in about 5 minutes. NQ back in a 250 right here. So 15-minute is also now engulfing the 30-minute. Looks like a hammer. Let's see how that closes. NQ bounced pretty much exactly where we expected it to. Weekly volume point of control, last week's high, 50% fib from the Tuesday low up into last night's high. That was a line in the sand for buyers before ultimately what likely would have been 25K if you ask me. Did not hit the intraday reversal there personally. Last week's high is not a true level of interest for me. I treat that as a reference point. So, well, let's see here. Post 11 a.m. Like to see how this 250 is going to be treated. See where we're at with the intraday retracement. Almost into the 50. There's 11 a.m. So 15-minute is currently above prior bar high for the first time all morning. Nasdaq bumping into the 50% fib. That's intraday. See how 250 area is going to be treated. Pretty much right here. Question about payouts in the chat. Yeah, that I mean, it kind of depends on where you're at in your journey. If you've never taken a payout before and you're just now eligible, I would say go for it just to start covering your costs and to kind of get a taste, a little bit of the fruits of your labor, right? But ideally, you want to be waiting until you're above the buffer, so you don't eat into the drawdown. So just watching the action here near 250. We have a 30-minute hammer, 15-minute engulfing. Mario catching that fallen knife on the first touch. Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's burned me plenty of times. I'll try it if I think that's like almost like kind of like capitulation sort of move, where you have like huge velocity. into a big level of interest and then massive relative volume to go with it, like highest volume of the session. But that's not what we saw right there at 200. Gabe, Tradeovate prop now supports setting your own risk limits. I thought they had that. Did they not have that before? I swear they always had that built in. Is that new? Oh, it wouldn't work with prop firms? Oh. Is that a separate So is that a separate application than the normal Tradeovate software? Same one? Okay. That's good. A little competition. A little competition is good ever since Project X came on the scene. That's good. Project X is great for risk controls. It's like probably the best as far as risk controls. I wish I had something like that years and years ago when I was trading options, man. Would have would have saved myself quite a lot. Broker lockout feature. NQ having a hard time with that 250 knockdown at the 50% fib right there again. Starting to get into late morning. We can see a little break right through here. Basically the 50% fib. Look for the overnight low in VWAP. Just bumping into that 50% fib again. That's 265. How's everyone's morning? So we get into late morning here. All right, Gabe, take care, man. Patience pays. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, GC with that overnight low spring. I just saw that. Gold has just been looking good. Volume is really tapered. NQ just in a little holding pattern here near 250. Looking for a break of 265. Really see if this thing can go. I give it a try through there at 250. Likely going to be the last trade of the day in the personal. Puts me decently green on the morning. after starting the day with basically a scratch and then a very small win on the spring setup at 250. Now we're back long again in the same area, 250 on a microstructure entry. Dave took the same trade. Let's go, man. That's becoming a theme, sir. Scaled out of some per usual. And we'll put the trail at 254 to see if this thing wants to give us a leg higher. If not, we'll take the trail and I'm gonna just call it a morning right there. A day like today, I'm just most happy with my patience and discipline. Respecting the system, following my rules. It's my goal every day. And then, of course, we had a few very nice trades in the Lucid straight to funded accounts. Here comes the trail. Trail's at 254. So just let them take me out if they want to. And almost. There it is. There's the trail. All right, that's a wrap on the personal. Small gainers this morning. Just happy to be green. Respecting my system, following my process. That's all we can do, right? That's all we can do. Not every day is going to be a huge day. Look for your spots, execute accordingly, manage those trades. That's all we can do. I'm going to call it right there. I'll keep an eye on things. I'll keep an eye on 250, but I'm going to shut down the personal account and switch prop only until about lunch. And then lunch, I have a hard cutoff. Don't trade the afternoon sesh. So I'll see you guys in the think tank. We do have the trading mentorship group coaching session after the close today. That's actually available for all Traders Think Tank members to catch the live session. Recordings are only for TMG members. If you're interested in that, if you're interested in the coaching session, check it out. Traders Think Tank after the close today. There's a 3-day trial. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We had NFP scheduled, but very unlikely that it gets reported. Government is shut down. So see what Friday brings us. Hope you guys had a good morning. Thanks for your time today. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.